What is up, guys? This is becoming a reoccurring thing that happens because news just pops out as soon as our episode is finished recording, and there's no point to go back and record something new. Um, but Riot announced that they are releasing 12.5B this week on Wednesday, which is the 9th. And we're going to be doing another episode this week. So this episode that you're about to listen to is going to come out on the 9th. And hopefully the patch notes will be released either today or tomorrow. And we're hoping to get that episode up on Friday. So stay tuned, get excited, enjoy the episode. What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
According to Low Elo, I guess that's a little different than me saying welcome, everybody. So what's up?
We're back.
I think
we're back this week, guys.
Yeah, I think everyone should realize they're welcome at this point. This is episode 35. You know that,
dude? Episode 35. What is that? How many 35? That's like more than 3/4 of a year, right?
I don't know how to do math.
It's same.
So
that's why I'm.
No, but it's sick. 35 episodes.
Oh, that is
I guess that's a lot.
that is 2/3. That's
2/3 of a year.
Of a year, dude. Congratulations.
For what?
For making it this far. I don't know.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyways, so today, like we mentioned last week, Riot's on
Hiatus.
some kind of vacation, whatever the fuck they want to call it. So there's no patch for the rest of the month.
Unless you're playing TFT.
For
some reason, Mortnog is still releasing TFT patches.
That has to be. Yeah, that's actually an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are they? Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. We could try to guess exactly what the fuck they're trying to do or what they're doing, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's worth your time to try to guess what they're doing, because I don't think they know what they're doing, to be honest with you.
Fair. But 4 days ago, they released a dev blog about the state of competitive spring 2022.
Yeah.
Now, when I first saw this, I don't know if you felt the same way. I thought this was literally going to be for pro play.
When they say competitive, it sounds like pro play, but yeah, I don't know. I can see it. I can see both ways, honestly.
Well, it's not really about pro play. It is about solo queue and ranked and all your fun fucking shit.
Yeah.
Though before we get into this, today's episode is going to be Tyler and I. We came up with pros and cons about how we feel about what they're going to do. So we'll explain what their goal is, what their goals are, and then we're going to talk about it, and we'll try to weigh what's good, what's bad. It's probably all bad, to be honest, if we're talking about Riot.
Yeah.
It's probably going to not be good at the end, but
well, I mean, the other thing too is we have not shared our lists with each other. So we have no idea what the other one's written down or thought of, and I mean, obviously there's a few things that come to mind when you hear about no solo queue, or no duo queue, but
so we'll get
there, but let's
quick.
get our poll results and our question results.
Yeah, so we'll do the poll really quick. The question was, are you watching LCS or any other pro leagues at the moment? Because I know NA viewership was going down. There was a lot of teams, TSM, that were just kind of shit in the bed, C9. It's just everything's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
And I know Tyler's been having issues watching it, and it doesn't seem like he can latch on. Well, you tell him.
I was saying that, like, I don't. As a former TSM fan, finding a new team has been interesting. I've even posted on Twitter, and I've heard from a lot of different fan bases. I did rule out. I said, okay, cool. I don't want to be a fan of TSM anymore because I don't like what Reggie's been doing, and I know he's been doing it for a while, but I feel like the backlash that's come out over the past 6 months has been like, dude, you haven't even figured it out. Like, because I could forgive you, but like, I feel like he hasn't learned where he's been wrong. So I'm like, cool, screw that organization. And then, like, of course, they let Bjergsen go too. That was like kind of like, okay, nail in the coffin, because I'm a big Bjergsen fan. So fuck that organization, and then fuck TL. I'm not a big fan of TL, honestly. And it's unfortunate they got Bjergsen, but like, TL to me, I always think of them as that like 4th place team, and then they just decided they were just gonna spend even more money, and I'm like, dude, I feel like you just bought trophies, if that makes sense. Like, it reminds me of the Yankees just trying to buy trophies. And so I'm like, to me, that's no fun. That's not interesting.
Is it weird that you hate the org but you like the players?
Yes and no. I don't think I've ever disliked really any of the players on TL.
Yeah, they're all great.
Even
Rippo,
even
Santorum,
old TL players. I mean, like Quas and
Lorlo.
Lorlo. It wasn't Saint Vicious. Was he TL?
A long
Yeah.
time ago.
So I mean, I've never had a problem with their players. And actually, back when they were like a 4th place mainstay, I actually kind of felt bad for them. You know what I mean? But when they like broke through, like it just looked to me like they just bought everything. I was like, okay, they didn't keep anybody. They didn't work the organization up to getting there. They just said, to hell with this squad. We're buying an entirely new squad. And then they started winning. I was like, but like, where's the fun in that, right? And that's kind of like what TSM tried to do too, is they buy a whole new squad. I'm like, they just have less affinity because like in traditional sports, you have like players that you watch grow. And it's fun to watch that in League too. I mean, look at guys like Blaze Olive and Palafox that have been able to watch grow since Academy. So like when they just went out and bought a whole new squad, I was like, well, forget this team. I don't care about them anymore. And then I also want to rule out C9. I don't hate C9, but like I don't want to be a fan of just the hot org that's winning everything. I was like, okay, that's like eh. And I also feel like lately Jack's just been shelling out money just to buy more people. I'm like, all right, like I don't know, I'm just kind of over that. But like I respect it. Like C9 is just one of those, like they are a classy organization for sure, and TL is also a classy organization. I don't think they've ever shown any classless behavior in my opinion. So but I wanted to rule off the top teams, and then I thought like Evil Geniuses had caught my attention last year. I was really interested in watching Danny play. I liked watching Sven Skaren on that team. And of course, Impact's always fun to watch. But I thought I would be a fan of Evil Geniuses this year, but I just found myself not being able to like catch on to the team. Like JoJo is cool and everything, but I'm like I just couldn't find myself caring. I was like, okay, this is lame, whatever. And so then I was like, okay, cool. I don't want to be a fan of CLG. I'm avidly against CLG as a former TSM fan. That's just like the rival, right? Like you don't be a CLG fan, and that's fine. Let's see who else is in that list. FlyQuest is cool. I don't have any real qualms with them, but like again, it's a team that's hard to follow because they're always trading out their players so often. Not a big fan of 100T. But that has to do, I think, with the fact that they're owned by the Cavaliers more than anything. And so then I looked around, I was like, dude, Golden Guardians is a team that I've always had as like I don't want to call them like a backup team, but like a second favorite team, just because they're like always been the underdogs at the bottom. And I didn't watch a whole lot of LCS to start the season. Like I watched a little bit here and there.
You watched Lock-In. Did you watch some of Lock-In?
I watched some of Lock-In. And I saw the upset they had. I was like, oh, okay. Interested. And even last year at the end of the year when they traded for Licorice, I was like, okay, this squad's, they're gonna try to do something here. Like I'm interested to see what happens. And this year they've been actually capturing my attention, watching them grow as an organization. Like I said earlier, that's what I find interesting. Like, okay, yeah, they grabbed Lost, but Lost was seen as like the worst AD carry in the league, right? They brought in Ole because they needed somebody in support, and I thought that was a really good move. They kept Blaze Olive in mid, who's been someone that's cool to watch grow, and they've kept Licorice up top. And they brought in Pride Stock. I'm like, yeah, this is a team that's like, they're on a budget, right? Which is fine. It's cool to be on a budget. I have no problem with that. But they're using their money wisely, I feel like, and they're building a team that's competitive. And they may not be a competitor for the top 2 spots, but they're easily like I could see them easily being a 4th place, even fight for a 3rd place team. And the organization has a history of building teams, right? That's the organization that Closer, FBI, Huhi.
Yeah. So
like it kind of fits in line with the things I like out of a team. And then also they're owned by the Warriors, and I like the Warriors, just from being from the Bay Area. So I was like, you know what? It feels natural. It feels right. So I decided I'm moving to Golden Guardians.
All right, shit. I think
Sorry.
you know what we should do, and I'm just saying this out loud, but like, holy shit, we should just give you the. You should be like the LCS corner, like.
Oh.
And now on to sports with Tyler. Do 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 do. Like you know so much more than me. I'm just like, haha, blabber got crap. That's all I fucking.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know too much about like in depth of the players and stuff. I
Okay.
know the names
Okay.
and stuff, but like, which is weird because I feel like I watch more than you.
You do, but I think what it is like I'm at work and I can like put on like Academy or something like that and kind of watch in the background and pay attention, catch some of the storylines. I don't know if you ever watch Academy, but Cubby is an awesome caster and analyst, and so is Kangas. I mean, really, they're all really good, but Cubby and Kangas are my two favorites for that, and I really like their points of view. They build great narratives and stuff like that, and I think Academy is an often underviewed product, and it actually has some really good stuff to offer, in my opinion. But we could do that. We could do like a pro corner for a couple minutes.
How about this? We'll ask the audience. How do you guys feel about? You want Tyler to talk about LCS? Give it a little update, like a quick 5 to 10 minute update of what's happened in the previous weekend. That'll be our poll. Yes or no? What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea
cool.
actually.
Cool.
All right, so that was the poll. Thank you guys. Thank you. Moving on to the Q&A. And our question was, if you are playing ranked, how is your 2022 season going so far? What champions are you playing? So here, actually we got some good responses this week, so thank you guys.
We did.
Jaden Bailey wrote in and said, my season's going well. Been running up Rumble mid and Trundle top. I know Rumble did get a pat or a buff a few... Was it? God.
Someone recently.
Whenever, I think was it on his E?
Is the E his shield?
No. Oh, was it the shield that got buffed?
Buff.
Okay, so he got a little bit buff. He's a little bit tank. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Because there's so many bruisers top lane. Maybe I think he got an armor.
I think so. I think he got a passive armor, and I think he got a slight shield buff just to make him competitive, because he still gets duked on by really good fighters or bruisers.
And then I feel like Trundle top with Hullbreaker Rush just sounds fucking insane, just because that guy shreds turrets.
That champion is sleeper OP, dude. Sleeper OP.
You see him a lot in jungle, but I feel like top lane, like you just take lethal tempo and build. If you build Trinity Force,
you don't even need to build Trinity Force. Depending on the matchup, you could even build Frozen Fist just to get the slow off. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I'd say the only reason
so
to build
versatile.
Trinity Force is the extra damage against turrets.
That's
you
true.
just
That's
melt
true.
turrets.
That's
Hullbreaker, you're unstoppable, man. So that he also said been struggling to find one position to click with. Support main for the past few years, but it's near impossible to climb without a duo.
Dude, I feel it.
Is that true?
I feel it. I don't know if it's impossible to climb without a duo, but it's impossible to climb without a competent ADC. And like the amount of competent ADCs I've played with is
at least
is
with
slim, and
it's tougher without being on comms with someone.
for sure. And like I can tell you, this season my win rate is dog shit. I'm barely running a 40% win rate. I started off at like 20%. Like promos just did not go well. And I've been spamming a lot of Zillion. You've seen that. And I feel like Zillion's been like, actually, he's definitely my highest win rate this season so far. But I feel like as a counter to just a general enchanter, Zillion just does kind of the same things and then lets your teammate live. I know you've been running a lot of Tryndamere, so we've been playing kind of like a no die
that's
comp.
my bro. I had to become what I hated. I am sitting right now in gold promos, 2 wins, 0 losses. I'm gonna split push my way. I'm gonna hit gold 4 and
Never touch
probably not play rank for the rest of the season because it is 100% not worth it, friends.
I need to get back to gold, and then I want to see how far I can get inside of gold.
Alrighty, so thank you, Jaden. You want to read the next one?
Yeah, I was gonna say we got Nathan with a little like Kermit the Frog little icon. I like.
Yeah,
that,
I like that.
He said, "Been playing Flex Q ranked with some friends in our 5-stack, doing some dumb shit, and see how far we climb. Our favorite is Rammus Yumi bot lane. That sounds disgusting, and I wouldn't know what to do against that because, what do you do against that? I don't know. Like,
What? I'd be curious to know what rank he's at.
Yeah, Nathan, if you're listening, I would just am curious, like Dean said, to know what rank you're at in that flex queue, because I know you said you're running a 5 stack, so I think
Right.
it works obviously because you're running with 5 people, but I do want to know what rank you're at.
I appreciate this because I feel like people don't. It's hard for me to try to enjoy this game because it's so stressful just because I'm playing ranked.
Yeah,
And I know I shouldn't let it get to me that, but I'm like, I'm putting in time, I'm sitting in queue, I'm sitting in champ select, I'm trying to play this game to win, and I'm not having fun. It's hard for me to have fun. This sounds like this guy
they're having
Nathan. It sounds
hella
like you're
fun.
having the time of your fucking life.
They are, dude.
So awesome, keep it up, man.
Seriously.
So next we have Sean who wrote in and said, "Slow climb, been playing Lux, Seraphine, and Heimerdinger.
Hamadinga.
Lux is for sure. I think Lux might be one of the easiest champions. Just at least playing like even support Lux.
Lux mid.
Lux, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah,
Because who are the mid
mean,
champions right now? Like anybody.
good point. Plus the ulti nerf buff that its base is 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Literally just spam that wave clear every fucking time that shit's up.
Wave clear or try to snipe somebody in the bot lane or the top lane. Or steal an objective. Yeah, Lux is a fun champion. I feel like, I don't want to say it's hard to lose on her because it's pretty easy to lose on her, but like you could play back and still do pretty well. Like you could play with a weak pocketbook and still do well. That's how she works in support. You know what I mean? So mid lane support, I think solid champ all around. That's actually a really really good idea, dude. So keep it up.
Keep it up. Alrighty. Who we got next?
We got Andrew. Andrew said, I started playing my best champs, Kate, Pike, and Vi, until I got back to silver. And then I've been bouncing around low silver, playing all sorts of champs. Looks like you play like every lane, dude. That's pretty impressive.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Just, trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's sometimes when I get shit on top lane, I'm like, oh, I don't want to play this fucking lane anymore, and then I'll go play mid. I could probably play every role decently. But no, for sure there are times where I just like, oh, I do not want to play, even though this is probably my best role lane to play. I do not want to play this shit anymore because I'm getting fucked.
Right. I know what you mean.
So hopefully, you're bouncing around and you're figuring out what you're gonna find a champion that's gonna click, and you're just gonna be like, all right, boom, and then you're gonna ride in next week and you're gonna be diamond bet.
Dude, that'd be awesome. I hope you hit diamond, dude. I don't even like if you're low silver like I am. That's like a pipe dream, dude. So I hope actually something clicks and you're able to take off, especially with the patch being so long. Hopefully you find what it is and that's not gonna get fixed. So you just gotta take it and run with it, dude. So keep up the work, dude. Seriously.
Just saying, guys, this is the only podcast where you probably should not be listening to our advice because we suck at the game.
No, this is for low elo players. They definitely should be listening to our advice.
What I'm saying is our listeners are probably better than us.
Oh, most likely. But
Yeah.
I will say this is what I was talking about the other day too, is and this is sort of off topic, but it's in line with what you were saying. I don't have the mechanical skill or prowess to play this game at a high level, but I understand it at a higher level than my skill would show. So
Sure.
I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but basically I suck at playing because I don't have the good motor skills, but like my thoughts are in the right place.
So what you're saying is you're Picasso in your brain.
Basically I'm Rivington Bislin the third. You know how he was stuck in silver and bronze and crap, but like the guy understands the game at like a core level. He really understands the game. So anyways, we got one more.
Oh yeah, Rand wrote in and said, I'm not playing ranked, but if I was, I'd be playing Tryndamere top. Guys,
Oh,
if you wanna be a degenerate who can't play, Tryndamere is just in such an insanely. Hold on.
so is Yorick.
Right?
Though. Hold on, Yorick's in a really good spot too.
Yeah, but Yorick, you gotta do a little more. You have to do more things as Yorick than Tryndamere. Tryndamere, you hit Ghost, You hit E, you spin at him, and then you just take your hands off the fucking keyboard and mouse and just let him auto attack, and then you get a kill. It's it literally have been the. I mean, I'm also. I mean, I hate Tryndamere.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
Fuck Tryndamere.
But I understand how to play him pretty well now, and he's bullshit. And until he gets nerfed, I'm just gonna keep playing him, guys. I'm one fucking win away from gold, and then I can play whatever the fuck I want in normal games.
And that brings us to our real topic of the day.
Right.
So thank
said,
you for all responders for the poll and the questions.
Yep.
Keep them coming in. We'll have our question for you at the end. It's pretty straightforward.
You know, another thing I was thinking of is, I haven't looked into this yet, but I'm gonna check it out on Anchor. I'm gonna see if people can write questions into us.
Yeah. Dude.
I think we can do that.
Dude,
but
honestly,
we'll come up with a question too.
If you can't figure it out on Anchor, honestly, our Discord, great place to write in questions. I believe the Discord is in the link of the podcast. It's in the link tree. Join up, guys. We're here. We're always playing every day. One of us is on at some point in the day. If it's not us, it's other community members as well that want to play with you. We want to build a good community. So we're here for you guys to play with, to make fun of, I guess.
Also, just to let you guys know, I am checking Apple Podcast review, so I don't fucking forget.
And
Captain Joshy, I'm sorry again.
I didn't see anything new, so yeah, Captain Joshy, you're still the last guy on there. Yeah, apologies again. But our topic of the day has to do with this dev blog, The State of Competitive in Spring 2022. And there's a little piece they mention here about getting to solo-only mode. I don't know why I said solely mode, but that kind of makes sense, I guess. Solo-only mode. Basically,
yeah, we're not gonna read the
duo.
whole article here, but you guys can go and read it yourselves. But yeah, basically, we'll just give you the TLDR.
Yes. So, what Riot wants to do, or what they're exploring, as it says here, is solo-only mode. In order to match player intent and provide the healthiest competitive individual queue possible, we are reevaluating our take on solo duo and exploring a world where solo players play in solo queue and pre-mades play in ranked flex or organized 5 modes. Organized 5 modes is Clash, for example.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So I'm not going to go into what they're investigating because there are a couple things that, like Dean mentioned, we did a pros and cons list that we did not share with each other. And I think it's more interesting if we read our pros and cons and then look at what their investigations are and see if they line up.
Sure. So yeah, we can hop in, guys. These are probably, at least for me, these aren't gonna be like hot takes.
No.
These are probably, like, if I had to guess, these are probably online of what they're trying to do.
Most likely.
So most likely, but I mean, we'll give our thoughts on whatever. We'll just get into it. So do you want to start with pros or do you want to start with cons?
I figure we do one for one. We hit one pro,
we'll
one con. So typically it goes pros then cons. So let's start with the pro and then we'll hit the cons. And if you have something, or if I say something that you have, or vice versa, just call
it out.
Yeah, call it out. Basically.
Cool. All right, you want to go first?
All right. So pro number one, and I know this is one of the things they're investigating as part of this. I wrote down, this could help reduce Smurfs in your game. And the reason is because they're not playing with their low elo friends. I know they've mentioned boosting as being a big issue. And, like, I don't know if Smurfing is considered under boosting if it's under that same umbrella. I think to an extent it is. Because typically what I find, or what we found in our games, more often in flex than solo, but it still happens, is that you could be playing there and somebody in a different queue is Platinum 2.
Oh, what did we play against? It was a Diamond 1. They played a Tryndamere bot.
Yeah.
And they were Diamond 1 in solo queue.
Yeah, and like their worst player was a Gold, I think Gold 2 or whatever, which is still better than my skill set. But like, it's kind of like, this isn't fun. This is a problem. But that was in flex queue.
Right.
Or no, that wasn't a normal. That wasn't even. That wasn't a normal game.
Okay.
Regardless, that still happens in regular solo duo, and I know that MMR is one of the things that they're trying to fix. And I know they're trying to fix, trying to find different avenues to hit smurfing, because I think that's a big complaint. At least it's a big complaint of mine. It's like I'm tired of playing against people that are so much better than me, that are faking like the you know what that is? That's fucking hustling.
Yeah.
That's hustling. Like if someone did this in a regular sport, or even like a game of pool, perhaps, they'd get taken out back and beaten with a pool cue or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's shit people just don't like. That ruins competitive integrity.
Yeah, I mean, I use Professor. Tyler uses what the fuck do you use?
Blitz, that shitty
Blitz.
TSM app.
We can check. Yeah, you love TSM. So every game, every lobby, we're checking just like our teammates, the enemies, and like if that pops up, and I see my laner I'm laning against is like a level 30 or level 31 account in gold elo, I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yep.
It's a Smurf.
Yep. It's fucking stupid.
And I'm hoping with them doing that could somehow, and I'm gonna tag this is one of the other points that I had, because I agreed, like, it'd be, you can't duo with a Smurf, so that's technically boosting, so it might fix that problem.
Yeah.
I want to be able to play against people my fucking skill level.
Yeah.
Give me the right MMR. Don't give me someone like, if I'm silver 1, don't put me against gold 1. Like, is that? I mean, I guess to be fair, a lot of people will be like, there's literally no difference in skills.
These are
between
also people that are in platinum and diamond, so they would say there's no difference in skill between silver 1 and bronze 1. Just throwing that out there.
But yeah, I'm just tired of, like. Also, can we just? Why don't they need to figure out? I wish they would just get rid of, like, ranked labels. Just give me like an MMR. Just give me like a number rating.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, I can't remember the last time I actually looked up my MMR. I know you can do that on OP, but like, oh, it's this, but then it's this. So like your MMR could be greatly higher than your actual rank.
Yeah. No, it really
or
can.
lower. Right? Like if I'm gold 1 and I've been losing games, I'm gonna get matched with people that are like silver, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I playing with these people?
Yeah.
Because I suck.
Because you're in the fabled losers queue.
Yikes.
But all right, that was the pro was reducing Smurfs, potentially reducing Smurfs, through hitting kind of like the boosting area. What do you got for your first con?
So if they're gonna make just solo, and then they're gonna like push up flex to be the prime ranked to play with your friends. That kind of makes me feel like it's dynamic queue again.
Yep, that's
especially if they're not gonna fucking unless they do fix the MMR, like, because like in flex queue there's no MMR barriers.
So stupid.
If dynamic queue was very not fun, and it just kind of gives me that weird familiar feeling of that, like, oh, I don't want to play alone, I'm just gonna play with my friend. One of my friends is diamond, I'm silver.
Yep.
Fuck it, free win.
Yeah, I fucking hate that shit, dude.
Was that season 8?
Might have been.
It had to have been.
Might have been. What are we on now? 12?
Yeah, 4 years ago. Yeah, that sounds about
right.
Sounds about
right. Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't even have that on my list, but like, you're right. It reminds me of dynamic queue.
Just reminds me of that. Oh man, it's yikes, dude. Dynamic queue is just not. It's like, oh yeah, you're playing mid, but then you have LP for other fucking roles.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I see what they were trying to do, but it just was weird.
Alrighty. So do you want to go to one of your cons?
No, I was gonna say let's do one of your pros, then I'll do one of my cons.
Got it. Okay. What do we got? Okay, so in an attempt, if this does go through and it proves it's positive, they could also potentially fix normal game and ARAM MMRs.
I hadn't thought about that. But
if they,
you're
you
right.
know, because again, in normal games, there's no MMR barrier.
Yep.
Sometimes I want to go into normal games just to play and have fun and maybe learn a champion. But again,
Can't.
motherfucker on the enemy team, there's 3 diamond players and 2 platinum players, and I'm sitting over here at silver. I'm like, sick. Well, I guess I can't play to practice. I'm just gonna get shit on,
Yeah.
right? So they could potentially do that if they have the power to, like, ranked is gonna be a little bit more tight and a little bit more fair. Like, close that gap on the discrepancy of skill level, they could surely do that for normal games.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think there should be some sort of barrier in normal games. Like a gold should never be playing with a diamond.
Right.
I can understand playing with a platinum because it's close, but like, it should never be playing with a diamond player or above or whatever. Not that I don't think I've seen anybody higher than diamond in a normal game, honestly. But
Also, I want to stress this. It's not that person's fault they're in the games. Like,
yes,
I get mad.
yes.
I'm like, oh god, this guy's diamond. What a loser. But he's just playing with his friends,
yeah,
and he can't help that.
yeah. Trying to get over that is actually kind of tough.
It's tough.
It's not
And
their. You're right. It's not their fault, but it's like, dude, go play with people that are your level, dude. Get out of my game. I'm not your level. I know I'm not your level. I'll never be your level. So go play with those people.
Yeah, I just get salty every time,
Same.
and I just gotta be like, yeah, just calm down. It's not their fault. The game Riot sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What do you got for another con?
So the biggest of all cons, and like this is just the obvious one, is you don't get to play with friends, and like for me, that's most of the reason I play. I don't play a lot of solo games because why would I do that to myself? Most of the time, if I play solo, I'm playing with fucking assholes, and I don't care to do that.
That's fair.
Like that's like a big. I think it's a big thing, and I know that when they took solo or when they took duo away from Challenger and stuff like that, a lot of players were kind of butthurt about it because they used to duo stream or they would stream their duos or whatever, and they were like, well, this fucking sucks now,
Yeah, like I remember people say this all the time. It's like, okay, there's 10 people in a game.
Yep.
You're one of the 10 people. So you're one of 5 people on your team. There's a bigger chance that there's more of a chance that there's more trolls and like enters on the enemy team than your team because you're one of those people.
Yep.
You're not going to do that. If you had a duo, that percentage is even better in your favor because now you have 2 people on your team that are guaranteed not to troll.
Yes.
Unless something happens and Tyler, you decide to run it. You decide to try to go put a fucking ward in the tri-bush bot lane.
Renata. It only happens when I play Renata, by the way. It does not happen when I play any other champion.
Listen. This guy, it's been twice,
dude,
like in the past week.
I don't get it.
He walks straight up to tri-bush.
I even went the other way. I even went the other way.
The whole enemy team is sitting there. This dude gets hooked and auto-attacked by a Nautilus. And then just dies. And it happened a few days ago. And this dude blames the ADC for not putting a ward down.
Okay, the first time I did blame the ADC who was standing at the bush and didn't put the ward down, and they never used their ward. I'm like, why did you use your ward, dude?
That dude just figured out how to turn his monitor on. Come on, dude.
But clearly. And then the one today was my fault. I turned around to look at my snake over here, and because he was being a weirdo. And then I didn't even get to the bush yet. I'm like, oh, I'm running the bush. It'll be fine. And then all of a sudden the team came out that way because they were going to walk around Krugs to go to red. And I just happened to be standing there like a fucking moron. So, I mean, I know that's like the new hot entry point of the jungle on blue side is through that tri-brush. So, I don't know. I just try to ward it because I know it's coming. I know what's coming.
Oh, Lord, it's coming.
Oh, it's coming.
You got another pro?
Yeah, so one of the things I thought about, and I don't know if this is a total pro, but it's a possible pro, is I think it could allow for less toxic games.
Okay.
The reason is you don't have like a duo teaming up on one person, right?
Sure.
Oftentimes you see, and it happens probably more in flex queue than it does in solo duo, but I do see it happen in duo too. Is like one guy has like a bad I don't know if anybody watched the Golden Guardians C9 game this weekend, but on Saturday, Licorice was up top against Gnar. He was playing Graves, and very early on, I don't know if he fat fingered his flash or if he intended to flash. I don't think he
Oh,
intended
okay.
to, and he got killed. And then it was chain gank after that. It just repeat, 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 and he all of a sudden was like 0-4, and there wasn't really anything he could do because he no longer had his secondary escape. And like in a game, if that happens to you, and it does happen from time to time, I've been a victim of that. Your team starts flaming you. It's like play safe. They say play safe, but playing safe is not an option when they can just tower dive you.
Right.
There's no way to actually play safe. And like I think the announcers were even talking about that. Is I think Flowers like, you know, you can't even play safe here because they just dive you. There is no safety. You have no safety. And he was talking about how people would tell you to play safe there. And he's like, it's impossible. And I feel like a lot of that happens. Um, so I feel like if there's no duo to really gang up on somebody else, because I have seen that before. Sometimes it happens with other solo laners, like the mid laner and the ADC are like, dude, stop dying topside, dude. And it's like, but I physically can't because they don't leave me alone. And learning how to cope with that, obviously going to other lanes and winning through a different lane is a thing that you can do as a jungler or as a mid laner when you're seeing that happen. Um, so I feel like there's just a little bit less toxicity in that regard.
Right. No, that definitely makes sense. A con. I'm trying to think. I think I'm looking over my notes here.
I have more, so if you need more cons, I have them.
Um, I'd say I guess it's so again I haven't gone over the article, but do they talk about for flex? Are they going to keep it the same way where it's you can have one, two, three, or five pre-mades, like no four? Are they still keeping that?
I didn't see that anywhere in here.
Because if I feel like flex, I feel like you shouldn't be able to play flex solo.
I agree.
Does that make sense?
I agree.
Or
But people do it because they
you,
don't want to. They got boosted to their solo queue rank, so they don't want to lose their platinum status. So they play flex and they're silver players.
yeah, I'm just be curious if like, do you think more people would play flex then?
I think more
Like,
people.
well,
Well, I think if this goes through, then more people would have to play flex. Because if you want to play with your friends, you have to play flex.
right. So I mean, I guess that'd be this would be more of a positive, but it'd be shorter flex queue times because flex we've been waiting like 6 minutes for games with three
It
of
says a
us.
minute and a half, and you're like, that's a fucking lie if I've ever heard it.
So I guess well, it's not a con, but a pro is better queue times.
All right,
That's nice.
all right, all right, all right.
Yeah,
I'll
let's
uh,
get hit me with the con.
I'll hit you with a con. And this has to do with flex queue. So in order to play, so you have to. Let me try that again. If there's solo only mode, then you have to play flex if you want to play with friends. The problem with that is oftentimes you're playing against five stacks, and when it's a five
Yeah.
stack
Okay. Yep.
versus a three and a two, or yeah, it usually it'd be a three and a two because like you said, if there's no solos allowed to play singles, uh, it's winnable if you guys are better players, but you are at a severe disadvantage if you're not using comms. Like a really
Yeah.
massive disadvantage, and that's not fun.
That's yeah, exactly. And imagine if the MMR is still like no barriers. So like they could have one silver player and a bunch of like diamond solo queue players on a team and they're a five stack. So they're all in comms together and you and a friend or with like three randoms that are a trio. You're probably not going to win that.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they could fix that skill gap discrepancy like if it should match up like if you're with a friend and then you have a trio on your team you should be going up against a duo and a trio that might increase queue times.
Or the other thing I could think of is if you're the trio and the duo, if you're going against a five man, that five man should have lower overall rank than you because they have an inherent disadvantage. Does that make sense?
That would be I feel like that would be very hard to like search out games.
It could, but if you're moving everybody to flex for playing multiple player queue, I don't think it would be too bad.
Do you think people would take flex more serious
Yes.
just because you can't? But will it? Will you sure? Like I just, it's the flex is still flex.
There's enough people that do. I think every game, every solo duo game I play has a duo in it. I think enough people play with their friends that, like I do. I mean, they would be forced to take flex more seriously. I know.
But
I know. I did read in the dev blog that they would say, if they were to do this, they would also have to revisit their flex queue modes and
yeah, we
even
can
the
start
normal
going into
queue
this
modes.
too.
And they were talking in ARAM balancing as well in terms of MMR and stuff like that. So they did mention they would have to look at all those things. So I do think that's a positive thing that would at least come out of this. But I still don't
But
think
like,
I'm a fan.
let me just I'm just trying to like. So tell me, do you care about your flex rank right now?
Currently, no, I don't give a shit.
So, so if that's the only way to duo, would you prioritize that over solo?
Most likely.
Okay.
Most likely. I just don't get as much joy playing the game solo like I used to.
No, I feel it.
Um,
I just feel like when I'm thinking of ranked, it always goes to. I just think of solo queue. My solo.
right, right. Well, it's funny.
I feel like-
One of the other cons I wrote on here, which is kind of small, but I just said like,
Sure, yeah, give
like
it to me.
this devalues ranked achievements to me
Sure.
because like even duo is it's not a guaranteed win, right? It's still tough to win when you're duoing. You see a lot of stuff, and it still can be very difficult to actually pull off a victory, right? Like you mentioned earlier, like, yeah, you have an extra 10% chance of having less inters or feeders or whatever than the other team, but like you could still lose. They could still just be better, or they could have drafted a better team or whatever. And so I think a lot of that is still predicated on how well you play in terms of solo duo. But in flex, I don't think it's quite predicated on how well you play. I think it is definitely a more team-based game in that regard. It's not quite so solo carry or whatever. And I feel like that devalues your personal rank a little bit, because it's not a reflection of your skill. It's a reflection of your teamwork ability instead.
The only thing is sometimes in flex queue, you literally could just be carried by one person.
Not saying it can't happen.
Right.
I'm just saying in the grander scheme it is a better teamwork queue, and does show off your ability to use teamwork to your advantage more than skill necessarily.
That's fair. But then again, this game advertises as a team-based game.
No,
It's
don't get me
not.
wrong. You're right, 100% right. It isn't. I mean, you do need a whole team to play the game to win. You can't.
Sure.
4v5s are incredibly difficult to win. But yeah, I think it to me would devalue my feeling about my ranked ability.
I guess could that possibly be a good thing? Like
Well, it could drive
Think about
players
it.
away. Is that a good thing?
it could possibly. I mean, what about if this is a game, right? This is
It's
a
supposed to be for
computer
fun.
game.
It's supposed to
This
be
is a
fun.
computer game with non-value numbers.
Right, right.
If that's getting devalued, that would maybe relieve stress and pressure
Could.
off people
Could.
from, they could
Yeah. I hadn't
people
thought
get
about
tilted
that,
and
but
then
you're
they
not-
just run it down. They're like, oh, my rank is blah blah blah, but it's like, dude, like, just chill.
Yeah, I mean, you're not
I'm
wrong.
guilty of that.
That is a thing. It's just, can you change people's mindsets like that now?
That's
After you
It's
set our
tough.
mindsets one way,
it's tough. That's why I think if this change goes through, people are still not going to give a shit about flex
Yeah,
or the rank at least.
yeah.
Do you have any more? I'm
I do
pretty
not-
much out.
I've got 2 more pros and like 3 more cons.
How about we do one of each? So we still got to go over this article.
Yeah, because one of them is pretty small. So actually, a couple
Sure.
of them are pretty small. So
Okay.
So one of the pros, definitely could be a faster queue time. I know we talked about that a little bit. Because players, so for solo itself could be a faster queue time as well. So not just flex, but solo. because the players are going to cover their own roles. So instead of, I think sometimes in teams people pick a secondary role for their other player, if that makes sense. It's for the duo, so in case they don't get the role or they get an off roll or whatever, that they can still try to get the role that they wanted originally. That's a pretty small one. I wasn't sure now if they were gonna add solo only, and then keep solo duo and ranked flex. If you did that, it would create a longer queue time for all three modes, in my opinion.
So do you think so you're saying there should be purely solo and then another solo or duo like how it is now and then flex?
So I know in the article that sounds like they just want to do solo and then flex, but
Right.
I just kind of had postulated in my head if they did solo duo to keep that regular integrity, and you could share that LP back and forth and then flex. So my thought,
That's
and this is just
tough.
this is total different postulation, but was like if you did solo and solo duo and you shared the rank there, kind of like in TFT, your hyper role and your double up rank are shared. Um, if you shared those ranks between solo duo and solo and kept that separate from flex, that's a thing. But I think that would reduce queue time. So I don't know if that's a feasible option. If that makes
But
sense.
I feel like what would happen is like, okay, so let me ask you, if that was the thing, if there was 3 different queues, which one would you play most of the time?
Probably solo duo.
Okay, so then what happens if all the players just decide to play that because they want a duo? That solo, the little solo one is gonna.
Might
There's
not be.
no one gonna fucking
No,
play it.
it's exactly. You could be poaching. As I'm saying, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. It just was
It is an idea.
an idea that came across my mind when I had originally thought about it. I'm like, well, I mean, that's not a terrible option. I don't think. I mean, definitely would have its pros and cons, obviously. Um, but then one of the cons I had to just the solo only, is that like when you and I play duo, we do sort of coordinate our bands a little bit, like ban this and ban that. You have less control over that in a party of all solo players, right? They're just gonna ban what they want to ban, and also is kind of piggyback. You have less control over the picks. Like getting someone else to pick something for you becomes more difficult, right? It's not impossible. I mean, your duo doesn't always have first pick or whatever, but you definitely would lose out on the ability of trading with someone that you know is going to not fuck that up. Like how many times have you played and like you're like, dude, you said you want me to pick you this champion, and then they walk away and don't actually trade you, and you're stuck with their champion or whatever. You know what I mean?
Or they don't have the champion
Or-
you're trying to trade with.
Exactly, and they don't tell you that. So like that could happen more often in just a solo only mode. But like I said, those two were obviously a lot more minor. Those were just some cons that came up to me that I think people wouldn't think about normally. And then the last pro I had was just that you could end up building better solo players. You could end up building better leadership through players, because if you're able to rally a solo team together, kind of like reminds me a little bit like Champions Queue, because that's all solo, right? And you have to kind of rally your players
Right.
to work as a team. I think you are kind of looking at the same effect in just the solo only queue, possibly. But that's all I got.
All right. Great. I think the last thing we can do is go down the article and right under where that first thing you read, where it said solo only mode, they have a bunch of goals
Yeah.
for solo, and then they have goals or possible outcomes for flex. So I briefly just want to read through these and
Oh
see
yeah.
what.
They're talking about their quality indicators. That's what you're talking about on here.
Sure. Yeah. So the first one for solo says we would expect an even further decrease in autofill and secondary rates, which is
That's kind of what I
we
had said. Yeah.
Queue times could decrease by up to 5%, for 99.9% of the players is
This is
well,
master.
okay,
That's just
I was about
masters
to
of
ask
both.
I was about to ask, is that a big fucking number? I'm like, it's astronomical.
It is astronomical.
Win rate advantages due to team disparities would vanish completely.
I don't know about
I
that.
don't I don't know if they can they make that claim.
I don't know about. I don't think they can
Same
do
thing with the one underneath it. Boosting would be eradicated. So like,
that. I think you can make that claim because you're not smurfing with another low player. So boosting in that solo queue, you wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, you'd have to have someone who's using your account, and they are tracking those now. Like they are banning those account sharing players.
I just feel like you could. I promise you, there's someone out there that would fucking figure out a way around this and get back to boosting. Like
You're probably right.
that's why I'm
but,
like I'm like
they
I
have to
don't
think
can
long
they
and hard about it.
sure. I mean, there's probably a lot smarter people out there that aren't working for Riot that could figure this out in like a heartbeat. They're like, oh
sure.
yeah, no problem. Kind of like how they do all the fucking what the fuck was the strategy funneling? Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
got rid of funneling and then guess what? Smite Top came. Like
But it took a long time to get Smite Top. I mean,
Sure.
it took over a year to get Smite Top to figure to like, oh, you could do this. So I mean, it could at least eradicate it for at least a year or something. I don't know. Anything could help. Hopefully.
and then
reduce the
finally they
popularity
said
of it.
we would expect between team and within team MMR for 99% of players to be within one division rank of each other during peak hours. So I'm assuming
Yeah.
peak hours is at night.
I don't know what their peak hours are, but I would assume probably from about 2 p.m. Pacific to 8 p.m. Pacific is probably the most peak hours, right? I'm trying to include everybody on the East Coast that would be playing maybe around 5 p.m. their time up to 11 o'clock. And then obviously the West Coast, that kind of overlaps that. I mean, the biggest peak hour is probably like 3 p.m. 3 p.m.
Yeah.
to 5 p.m. Pacific is probably like the top few hours of the day. But that's just a guess. That
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's no information to back that up. That's just a educated guess.
It's something I can get behind too, because like within one, like so if I'm silver 1, I'm either playing with gold 4 or silver 2 people.
Yeah.
That I can get behind.
Yep. Yep.
That's great. Even if it's like gold 3 and silver 3,
Yeah.
even 2,
Yeah.
I could be fine with 2.
Yeah.
That's something great. So good luck, Riot. You're not gonna fucking succeed, but good luck.
A little engine that could,
And
dude.
then we got ranked flex if you wanna.
Yeah,
read
so
that for us.
obviously the obvious one is the increase in queue population, which just meant that queue times would decrease. I think we talked about that. Drastic improvements to match quality. I think that also is true because you start flooding that queue with more people. You're gonna be able to get closer ranks in each game. So I think that's important as well. It's a significant decrease in queue times for parties of 3. Sure. Increase in overall match quality and competitiveness. I feel like that's literally the same thing as drastic improvements to match quality, and increased opportunity for group/organized play. That's one that we didn't mention, but like again, I don't play 5 stacks very often. I mean, we don't really have 5 people that want to play all at the same time very often that play wide enough roles for us. So for me, I'm like, okay. But that's
I kind of wish they. I think Clash is a great idea. I
can't
There
commit
are
to the
times I
times.
cannot commit to it.
Yep. I'd love to play Clash, but I can't commit to like, hey, I need to be fucking here at 7 p.m. or whatever. Like, stuff comes up. My girlfriend comes home early from work sometimes, or whatever.
They need to. I feel like they should bring back the old ranked 5s.
Yeah, just
I like
the
that.
ranked 5s.
It's like Clash without
Yeah.
Clash.
Yeah, without having to be on a certain time. But I think that's hard to get enough people in there, which is why they got rid of it because the queue times were too long.
Sure,
But
it's fair.
anyways, I don't think I have anything else for this. I think I've waxed philosophically enough for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's we're looking pretty good. So guys,
The question this week is simple. What is your biggest pro and what is your biggest con if they were to implement this? And maybe try not to pick the obvious ones like we picked.
And if you can't think of anything,
I mean,
you
go
just can't
for it.
think
Yeah,
of
I can't
anything.
think of anything. Can't think of anything. But I'm curious because as I got more into it, I found some more fringe ones. Obviously, like well, you don't have quite as much control over the picks and bans, right? So
Yeah.
I think I'm curious to see what other little intricacies you guys can think of that would affect the game and whatnot, other than just playing with friends. I mean, obviously that's the big obvious one.
Hey guys, like I said earlier, I'm gonna look into on Anchor if there's a way for you guys to submit questions through that. I do know because I just looked this up. I do know you can send in voice questions, which is
Ooh,
something we can try to do. So I'm
ooh,
gonna get that set up. If you guys want to send in a voice question, that'd be cool.
yeah,
And then, like Tyler said earlier, in the bio in Spotify everywhere, our link tree has
yes,
our link to our Discord. Join that, and you can write us questions there. You can either DM Tyler or myself, or you could just post it in the general chat,
yep,
and we'll be checking that to see if there's any questions there. We'll more than happy to answer them.
absolutely, absolutely, guys.
Yeah, that's about it. I'm thinking of maybe streaming this week. I'm gonna try to play some League. I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring, so I might be playing that.
Yeah,
So yeah, again, if you guys just want to come and hang out,
yeah,
follow the Twitch. It's Dean PTV. I'm probably gonna change that just to make it more like ATLE or something, just to make it more along the lines of our podcast. So
and follow the Twitter. That way you guys get the
yep,
updates on the streams going, or you can even follow the Discord.
yeah.
We
Again,
can make stream
everything
events in
is
the
in
Discord.
that link tree. That is your lifeline.
Yeah,
Everything's in
no,
there.
seriously. We use, I mean, I use the hell out of the Discord functions
Right.
and whatnot. So the more you guys come in, the more fun the functions get.
Right, guys, that's gonna be it. So as always, good luck in your games. Hopefully, you are getting to those ranks that you want to get to, and we will talk to you next week.
Yeah, guys, be safe. Have a good week, and hopefully you guys find some stuff that we didn't think about.